to Good Cop, Bad Cop Press Showcase and Open Mic Poetry. We have a couple of features tonight. We have Jake St. John and Jane Anderson who are here tonight, and myself will be reading from our various chapbooks that I've put out in the past year. And, you know, it's good to have a nice intimate crowd right here, and we're going to have an open mic afterwards, so everyone's included and, you know, can, you know, just read away, basically. But I'm going to get things going, and I'm gonna read for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to hand it over to, did you guys do a coin toss or something to see who's going to go after me?
I don't think it. Where's she?
Jake, you were gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, so it's not that formal, but here we go. I'm gonna just start off with a poem. You know, I have plenty of poems. I don't know how to edit that well, actually. But I did have a few in mind to read tonight, and we'll just get going with that. And and I'll talk as we go along. Sizzling friction when my tongue hits the landscape of edifice after edifice. The barrels are burning and their liquor lips are heated. They tell me nothing of truth, only sermon after sermon. The end days are flies in windowsills gently escaping into the dark. Time's enveloping curtain, cuddling my sleep, my clarity of mind when at sleep. I want the wounds of this city treated, so I lick it almost tenderly, gaining a little sustenance from the cracked system, failing to go forward. It leaks failures almost calmly and naturally. The stories too hard worn for scripture, orated on a stool in a few mumbles. So I catch the epitaph of a city between my teeth and storm the country for some reason, to show an example of how gnarled a mouth can get when sucking down sadness from burning barrels and returning to sleep a very mad man. I also have some unfinished manuscripts for future chapbooks that I'm going to do a few selections of that, because I actually really want to share these. They actually, on the table there's my chapbook, Conflict, Conscience, Ceremony, and the unfinished ones actually came before these newer poems from 2012. So, but let's go ahead, and I'm going to do a couple selections from Conflict, Conscience, Ceremony, which is available here at the bookstore.
How much?
5.
That's good.
Yeah. And Jake, can you just be timing me?
Yeah.
You're
good.
Cool. The journey eloquent. I sit in my head and melt with the hour. Tombs of birds lie open-faced, like the dreams once in flight, now at eternal rest. Whether they completed the task set out for them or not is of no peace of mind for me to tangle with. Just the bubble popped, the axe falling out of swollen hands, the tired smile, a lament hard to place. Between the responsible and fleeting, artistic statements swelling the conscience. I choose to sit and sleep, not knowing how to move, as the memory of a ceremony escapes me. Gravity is kingpin. Oh, Gravity is kingpin, and those who defy it, skydivers out of light, come floating back to their origins, and gravity still is kingpin. Still is the miserable, translucent dew weighing on me as I walk, trudge up hills by the Pacific, fine wine, light-headed, and lonely-faced clouds never smile back at our drunken mugs. This one-sided exchange might make us yelp, howl at the light, stupendous and futile. This is the extent of glory to these men. And this is Harvey, everybody. Say hi. You want to read this one with me?
Yeah.
Let's read this one. Up, up, up. Oh, let me get a good grip. Hold on. Let's read this one together. Actually, let's get a more appropriate one to read. New blessing. When children smile with their futureless eyes, seeing no premonition into an abyss of light, like waking from dream and seeing the world as endless field. Sit with the forgotten family ghosts. They are etched in porch light and makes her come to the window, ever so often to look for vagrants that unsettle the night. Can she live in solace? Late shifts of the father are as haunting as the flickering sounds that hit the edges of her ears. Through the wounds of the past that cannot be undone, come youth newly winged, sores that can never be sealed. They come as new blessings for an old hope, revitalizing and now ready to be passed on. They remain with the light, fight for good, with futureless eyes, gather the ghosts.
Beautiful.
Guest spot from Harvey Boroughs. And then I'll do one more from the chapbook that's available tonight. Chuck at the salon has his hands red with dye. The far-off stare has him preaching to cities and not doing hair, cleaning, cutting tendrils of human fabric, his city in smoke and his reigning rhetoric a call to arms, the bloom of leadership with his tongue inciting riotous discussion, personable and visionary each word, the action of the future, but he dyes hair, cuts and prints it, each stroke of the scissor a casual remark into the mind of the customer, an insight of intense realization unto themselves. But what does he really speak of? Equal opportunity, rights for all, the riches of earth, stuffed in the mouths of the poor until they cannot speak once again. Not just class war, fiscal responsibility, allocation of resources, food, clothing, shelter, medicine, but many more find their way into the drain with the hair clogging its transmission in the waterways of change. And so, Remember when we only had light? So we prayed at dawn and died at dusk, strapping our mumbles to a revolution that would not begin or end. Emptied of salvation, we could bend into ourselves, the stance of outward sacrifice thrilling. What to come of the loveless? We pray like children for gifts, to restore the compassion in them. All we can do is let the tongue sting his ear, plant requests, flower responses, and wilt with the unanswered. He is the champion disaster. He is the rotten yoke of conception. A dazzling deed that fades quickly with the arrival of misfortune in the wake of religious temperaments. Someone is going to break and never return to rise. Call it by the dozens to the flame, but we might pray for them to ascend. This dichotomy, attiring death and rebirth, but we come as children and die as adults. In a day, these prayers are just charred paper by our skulls. And then I'm going to do one more from here. Well, actually, I'm going to do two. So
Yeah.
let's do two. Candlelight and whispers. We are animals and ailing breath, he writes. The function of circular motion is to create peace. Comets seeping through the floorboards, a hellish space beneath, or is it lava wetting the toes? He can only fathom an earth-like star placed between roof of mouth and tongue. How a fountain of light pulses through the skin and into the ink, where the entrenched spirit swells to communicate without a word, but a shot through the halo hands of man. Make a cosmic truce quick, bloodless and all, before the swallow eclipses that gentle orb, and the village hut that dawns in dark becomes a pile of ashes, as he writes against the will of his existence and into the murky glow scorching the horizon with tattered streams of that ever-dwindling light.
I don't know, yeah.
This is for Amory and Harvey. That I wrote about our first year with this young man. Who is as playful as I think he'll ever be, well, maybe more so. He's a wild one. These little fists of love are filled with sand. He is sitting on a towel, always upright and smiling. The current unfurls over her as she glides in the sea. I watch over them, always shaken, as I am a new father, laying on my side. The camera clicks away at every gesture. We are three building a dream, out of rope to climb and treehouse to live in. Love's ascent like from the bottom of a canyon, a bag of hammers emptied from the meeting on shore and escape. She is the nautical seeker of good things to come. I've never run so hard against time's will. Though supported, we are the only hope for our son to grow up to be a great man. Sun on sand, eyes on sun. He is the keeper of our two hearts as they blend as one. The soak of feet as we tread the sand cools me. Now he's on my back, taking in the world without the blink of an eye. He pushes on our brows as if to affirm life's intensity, to affirm love's greatest moments as they bathe the land of our lives. Couple minutes? Okay, so I'm going to just do, let's just do about 3 more short ones from my unpublished stuff that I hope I'll be able to put out within a year. And this following one will be taken from a chapbook called Medication and Solace. Let me just choose it first. This one's called Through the Light and Limbs. He says, looking more like Jesus every day. Young laughter comes from a corridor and contorts my face with dual emotions. Like a pair of raw masks, I feel marble under my hands. It is still, it sifts beneath me. I know what a baton is. It needs to be passed. I feel need. Its weight, tradition, and limbs that extend and peer through the light of many days. I am sorry. I feel love. The endless spreading stretch of love in the eternal baton, an intangible heirloom. I'm going to understand this afternoon as the lengthening of the clock face, the illusion of youth growing up out of itself the moment they crawl from out of the shadows. And then one more from Medication and Solace. And then we'll do one more in the other one. Finito. Blowing on your neck are the corpses of shadows, the outlined figures of a melancholic past. A thrill ride skirting tragedy and now dancing at the back of your head, tickling your memory. For a fleshy resuscitation, detailed and all, you walk forward without breath to keep them going. But know that the rope you do give them is a noose around neck, but with both feet on the ground. A leash long enough to soak and drag the memories as an internal fade and recurrence, however pain they might be. No chance at recovery like you might have wanted. This time they haunt playfully and you smile uneasily. But the air and life around you fill you at those moments like bubbles in your personal history, and you must cope with that backseat sting by a single inhalation and outreach to the living. Anonymous as they might seem, you pull them close, threading your fingers in their soul and hope they weave their hands back into you. One more to end the night, and then we'll have Jake. Sarah. The chill. Grab the ghost right out of bed. Winter comes easy when you're waking up all the time. Snot is a crystal, palms are crags and cliffs, and you hold your boy under layers of fabric to an outing where a small family sees the earliest sunset in the year. They stand by water and catch glimpses of the tide's new directions. New ways to let out secrecies and fold linens. Not that they were kept to keep from hurting. little surprises thrown in the mix. And all they notice are the leaves now, all their whispers calm for the child. The breathing is relaxed and channeled as if to build dreams in his sleep. The future brims with possibility to fill the shadows of these ghosts as three figures cling to the water. Thank you.